there, everybody. So, Night to Make a Nightmare, and, well, my internet's still in effect for the moment, for the time being. Not entirely sure how long that's gonna last. But, let's see. Oh, by the way, one of you guys kind of, well, before I even begin on this, I guess I might as well say that, well, I'm still gonna try to make videos for as long as I can. And I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to try to keep making videos for as long as I can. You know. But, okay, in the last episode, oh shit, what did we do? Got to explore the mansion a little bit. Had, multiple choices, which I got the save files there. And also, I learned the pronunciation of that name. That was not Mikkel, it's Michelle. Michelle. So I'll try to pronounce that properly from now on. Although I thought Mikkel sounded better. Anyway, the Cursed Man. It had been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house deprived of light was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as a part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. Or is it pronounced respite? Oh well. She and Michel continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. I keep going in and out of voices, I'm just not feeling well. Nonetheless, on the occasions that they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not even have met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face.
Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village, but if we don't do something soon...
The cellar was where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats and cheeses. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But Master, you know a young delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food.
How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder?
From there, other questions about Michel started rising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed. Surely, he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. I don't think you're allowed to do that. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionlessly at the door, lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something.
May I ask you a question?
Go on.
I was just down in the cellar and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the cellar to restock?
I haven't been outside in 10 years. Holy shit.
And how do you...
What if I told you I don't eat?
What?
That I am not of this world, and as such I have no need of sustenance. What would you think of that?
Well, to be quite honest, I'd be a little bit freaked out, but judging by your appearance, not saying that appearances, I do not judge people by their appearances, but simply in this metaphorical little sentence, hypothetically, judging by your appearance, I would not be surprised as much.
That sounds very, Economical? If you can survive without having to eat, that's one less thing to worry about. If it were possible, then I'd like to have that ability too.
It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time.
Well, was I supposed to be afraid?
Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's going to be about that time.
Huh?
Wait, and you will find out.
What do you...
It's here.
Oh?
If you want to know where my supplies come from, open the door.
But, I'm in hiding.
There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal.
A signal?
The white-haired girl turned toward Michel to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze.
Find the answer yourself.
He seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door.
Jesus. So bright.
The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gone any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light,
What's this?
she noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Michel about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michel from the dark shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house, but eventually she did manage to drag it through the front door.
Okay.
And then everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest.
What's...
Without a word, Michel approached her in the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box. Go on, open it up. At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. Is something amusing?
It was just rather anticlimactic. Here, I was worried about what might be inside.
We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar.
So we were. It completely slipped my mind. This should last us for some time. If it's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all of this to you?
There should be a book in there as well.
What? Oh, his family? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. Does that mean that this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here?
Take the book to the library, please. I'll bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar.
But it's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it.
That won't be necessary. Take the book and go.
Okay, but...
Fine, then stay here. I'll take care of everything.
Wait, hold on, please.
What is it?
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, I'm not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious.
Say what you have to say, please.
I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be imprisoned here?
I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house.
Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists.
I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then. Come with me.
What?
I'll show you my curse.
Oh boy.
As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. That smile, carved into his mask, was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Michel. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment.
Oh boy! Many things are buried here.
Huh?
Mice, insects, wild cats, and dogs. Have you ever thought it strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion?
You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar.
They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now.
Eh?
A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michel held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment.
All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood is poison to all life.
But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then without warning it shriveled up into a dry husk.
Ooh, my lord! Well then. It's dead. All dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I saw it with my own eyes. If this is his curse, though, it explains much.
There are more than just insect and animal corpses buried here, too. Servants who came to visit me long ago.
Are here beneath the ground? Under our very feet?
That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Not your soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you.
So that's why you have never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And the only one of us ever made contact with the box in the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine.
My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real?
No, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable, but you've shown me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either.
In which case you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left you would be killed. But it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here.
He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how much he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. So, no. I will not leave. I will stay here with you.
Leave this place.
No, I will not.
Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay.
Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? Why does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can not to inadvertently kill me, to not afflict me with your curse.
No.
Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly, truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent.
No,
That day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out. You listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day I thought you'd be a good person, and I still believe that.
I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this with a man like me.
How does that make me foolish?
Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant?
The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone. To live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life.
Impossible.
Please don't chase me out.
You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence, but as the number rose it became clear that I was cursed, and I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. I couldn't take it any longer.
So you chose to move here to this remote mansion to keep yourself away from your family? You weren't imprisoned here. You elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone.
For better or for worse, I was born into a noble home. So rather than abandon me, they've provided me the means to live out of sight.
I'll be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur, to keep you from being alone again. I will not for any reason touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything, and I think you understand just how scary that is. So,
why are you so stubbornly insistent on it being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward.
it has to be you. I'm certain of it.
Why?
Because, well,
You can't tell me?
No, I can't. Please don't get upset with me. I think I might really, really love you.
Aww.
Huh.
So anything he touches dies. Huh. His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of its life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale. Like something confined to words upon the page. It seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The doors of the past through which we have passed. This very mansion. And as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Michel acted in response to her proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered,
I'll consider it.
and with that he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was in that moment in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with this stream of incomprehensible declarations. That, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion. And that, knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Michel was not a fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away. To him that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair.
Oh dear.
Several days had passed since Michel had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again.
This is all my fault.
The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept a distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long, so she worked up the courage and made her way to his room.
What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth.
Every step she took was slow and laborious, her mind raced with worry and doubt.
I should at least tell him I'm sorry.
Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at a door sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage once more, this time determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist toward the door, which then swung open. I'm sorry.
Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap?
I'm sorry.
And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers.
You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really wanted to tell you this.
Oh, well, actually...
I am truly sorry.
What?
The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room for my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face. Not considering that might not be what you wanted, just running nonstop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that. But you're only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affection of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. I'm sorry.
Don't be. My mind went blank for a moment.
What?
I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you say you'll leave without a struggle?
You holed up in your room for so long that I thought, you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here, I do.
I think you should do whatever pleases you.
Huh?
You can stay, or you can leave. I will not pressure you to do one or the other.
So I'm not imposing?
To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room.
What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to...
To prevent what almost happened a few moments ago. So we don't accidentally run into each other.
Sorry.
You're forgiven. Now, come in.
Okay. Okay. Is this a necklace?
If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up.
It has a little bell. It's adorable.
Please make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. Because it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk.
Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this?
That's right. What other reason would I have?
I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood or that you didn't want to see them.
I have little sense of how most people see the world.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense considering how long you've been, locked up in this mansion.
Sorry. I appreciate it, though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me.
It would be difficult not to, after the other day.
I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier.
You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it.
Why?
It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You are not livestock. You're a person.
That's why you turned it into a necklace? Thank you very much.
Aw, that's so cute! Where's the tragedy? Where's the depression inbound?
Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michel.
Don't call me Lord, please.
Alright then, I'll just call you Michelle. And will you please call me Giselle?
The windows.
What?
If we could open the windows. Never mind. I was just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here.
They can't be opened?
They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here.
I assumed you had boarded them all up.
That was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers.
Oh, really?
Is there something odd about that?
No. It's just, I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn.
Of all the people I've ever met, you are perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, you...
The dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun, its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight.
You are anything but unholy. My name would suit you. Much better than me.
Whoa, what the fuck was that? What the hell is that noise?
That day when I first saw Giselle, I was wary of her. Apprehensive. I didn't want her anywhere near me. But, as my doubts about her faded, I began feeling something very different. Oh god, what is that noise? As though the lump in my... Okay. As though the lump in my heart had been melted away. I began to yearn for her to be at my side. Knowing full well it couldn't possibly last. Knowing full well how foolish it was. I found myself captivated by her. I found myself wishing to have her stay with me.
What the actual fuck is going on here? Ooh! Game? Could you explain to me what just... what?
Okay, that's not what I expected to see, honestly. Okay.
And that marked the true beginning of their quiet days together in the dark mansion. They acknowledged and accepted each other's presence, no longer isolating themselves but actively, regularly conversing. As mundane as it might seem, it was something they had been unable to attain until then. Nevertheless, they were still somewhat fumbling around in the dark with one another, drawing closer and pushing away again. Michel, in his own ungraceful way, was beginning to open himself up to the things she said, and the white-haired girl was beginning to smile with greater frequency. They had taken to dining together, and her wish of learning to read was being granted. He taught her in the feeble light of a candle placed upon the table, the two sitting across from one another. Though Michel seemed to be well educated, he had not been instructed in the art of teaching, so he found the process quite grueling. But to the white-haired girl, the longer it took, the better. Her primary objective was, after all, to spend time with him. The days passed, and eventually she reached the point where her comprehension was adequate enough without assistance. Her next request, then, was for them to read through a book together.
Have you read every book in the library?
No. I stopped looking at them after a while. Most everything I'm sent is dull, uninformative dreck. The Diary of a Lord, foolish make-believe tales.
You're not fond of fiction, I take it.
What value is there in the lies and fantasies of another?
Stories can be invigorating. Tales of adventure can take you places you could never go. Legends of heroes, folklore, stories of otherworldly phenomena. They can be terrifying and they can be exhilarating. They may not be real, but they give you a little glimpse into the author's heart. Let you feel like you're seeing them, the same thing they saw.
You're a very empathetic girl. Fiction inspires nothing of the sort to me. However, perhaps long ago, it may have been able to, though I can no longer remember what it feels like.
I'm sure it'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. Sorry, I'm making you uncomfortable again. How about we read this book today?
It appears to be a collection of legends.
You haven't read this one yet, then? That's good to hear. It'll be more enjoyable if it's a new experience for the both of us. It looks like it's a record of local legends?
The book is divided into several sections, although it appears to be mostly superstitions.
I am curious what kind of stories this area has.
The two of them were looking down at a simple, undecorated volume. As the white-haired girl had said, it seemed to be a collection of local legends passed down generation to generation. They sat across from one another at the table, her turning the pages and Michelle simply watching so as not to brush against her. Eventually, her eyes were drawn to a particular word on one of the pages, bringing her hands to a stop.
The witch.
That chapter detailed the story of a witch, or more precisely, said witch's curse. The story went something like this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit! I almost forgot, I gotta check the, I gotta check this. Whoa, what the hell? What the fuck is up with her dialogue here? Okay, let's see how far I can go up here. See if there's anything different. She'll come back to you. You're not an empty man. What the fuck? What the Do I need to grab my... I think I'm gonna grab my, book here. Okay, this is weird. Also, wasn't expecting my chair to be that loud. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm not entirely sure if I should write this stuff down, but... First, I'm gonna scroll up all the way here. See if there's anything... What the fuck? Several words are just... What the fuck? What the fuck? What a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear? What the... So wait a minute. So I'm clearly being shown... Am I being shown something that didn't actually happen? Because the white-haired girl's... several bits of the dialogue are fucked up. What the actual hell? How far back does this go? Slithering into my head, replacing memories before they can surface. Stop. Images are slithering into my head, replacing memories before they can surface. What the actual fuck? How far back does this go? Just... Oh my god! Holy shit, I've been missing out! Okay, I'm back.
There once was a witch skilled in the dark arts. She lived a meager but peaceful life alongside of the other villagers. But then a long drought struck the village, which the people blamed on the witch. The witch was sentenced to death, and as the fire blazed around her, smoke rose high into the air. The smoke soon became rain clouds, blessing the village with an end to the drought. The crops were revitalized, and the villagers fancied themselves heroes. However, the rain also brought madness upon the people. Though the earth below them was lush and fertile, the villagers were losing their minds, and they eventually began to take each other's lives. The witch still lived on in the form of a curse.
This reminds me of the Salem witch trials.
Many fell victim to the witch's curse. Although it did not only take, it also fulfilled people's desires. The villagers had gone mad, but their wish for freedom from the drought had been granted. Thus the legend had been passed down as follows. The witch will grant your wish in exchange for great sacrifice. As smoke in the sky, she watches down upon us from above. To reach the witch, climb for the heavens. But know that road is a road to destruction.
People still believe the witch's legend even now, I suppose. And that's why I...
face accusations of being a witch. This is not an area very welcoming to outsiders, especially one who stands out as much as you. What brought you to this region in the first place?
It's a story I'm sure you've heard before. I was cast out of my house. I come from a very poor family. We could barely even afford to keep everyone fed. Being as weak as I am, it was only natural that I would be the first to go.
I see.
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes.
I don't know. Let's see if something else popped up from the backlog.
Yeah, the witch thing still looks about the same. Eventually, the witch still lived on, the former curse may have... Yeah, it seems like the witch thing was. People still believe the witch's curse even now, I suppose, and that's why I face accusations of being a... So it seems like this is very broken up, it would seem. So something's interfering, like, these memories aren't correct. They're being interfered with, I guess.
What I don't understand, though, is why the witch is said to grant people's wishes. That is to say, she had reasons enough to hold a grudge, but not to give people things they asked for. All we have
to go on is a few pages. There's no saying what might have been changed or added over time. And it's almost certain the entire legend isn't written here. That said, if we are to accept everything as written, you can infer that the witch's reason might have been.
And that is...
If you truly want it that much, you can have it. But I'll make certain your suffering outweighs it. Despair that comes after a moment of happiness is far more agonizing than despair alone. I presume that is why the witch decided to grant people's wishes.
That is one way to look at it. May I ask you something?
Go on.
When I first arrived here, you told me that a cursed witch used to live in this mansion. After reading this legend, I'm now finding it harder to believe you made that up simply to scare me away.
I appropriated the tale, nothing more.
Did you? Let's see. So, wait a minute. These don't even seem all that adjusted. Like, they seem like all the same, honestly. There was no cutouts or anything. So it seems like bits and pieces of the story that are intentionally adjusted, I guess.
It is said that the witch was born in this house.
What?
Quite the place my family found for me. But it was a clever decision putting me here, I think. Not many people are likely to come near a house with such a pedigree.
But... no, never mind. That makes sense.
I suspect I know what she was going to say then. If the witch is said to grant wishes, then wouldn't that also attract people who so desperately want something? They do not care what price they must pay? And perhaps she was correct. Perhaps there had been those who had come to the mansion chasing after the legend, and perhaps they had encountered Michel, touched them, and lost their lives. On that day in the garden, he had said,
Many things are buried here.
perhaps that included such visitors.
I wonder if that story might be more than mere superstition.
If the witch of legend really did exist, what would you do?
It might be nice to talk to her, maybe.
That's all. Really?
I feel a little bad for her, though. The only people who ever visit her are there to ask for something, after all. I can only imagine just how lonely that must be.
I swear I cannot comprehend the way your mind works.
Sorry.
Though, if we assume the legend is true, I have an idea that what climb for the heavens might mean.
Oh?
The mansion has an observation tower. Or I suppose what used to be an observation tower. At any rate, it is quite a tall structure. This is the house where the witch was supposedly born. A tower reaching for the heavens seems like the perfect place to find her, if she really is there. Here.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing a rather tall structure as I first approached the mansion.
Would you like to see it?
Of course. Please lead the way.
Yeah, so far everything seems to be the same. There's no adjustments, there's no cutouts, everything seems to be pretty much the same. The two of them left the library and made their way to the room with the stained glass window. At the far end of that room were the stairs to the observation tower. The tale of the witch had piqued the white-haired girl's interest, inspiring her to put herself forward to satisfy that curiosity. She had, after all, been accused of being a witch herself, so she had undoubtedly felt an affinity to the legend. What a sweet girl she was. With Michel in the lead, the two climbed a long spiral staircase. Blah, blah, blah. There were many more stairs than the white-haired girl had anticipated, and she soon found herself short of breath. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in regular intervals. Peering through one of them, she could see a village in the distance. A pleasantly cool, high-altitude breeze brushed across her face.
Oh, hello there.
After much climbing, they finally arrived at the top, where a door made of partially rotted wood stood. Michel pulled open the door, revealing a small room with no windows or doors in sight. Wait a minute.
This is the top of the tower?
Despite it being called an observation tower, you could hardly observe anything from there. Her face contorted in confusion. The white-haired girl threw her gaze about the room. Glancing up, she saw only a darkened ceiling, and slightly below it a single small window through which shone a little ray of light. The beam cleaved through the darkness like the sharpened blade of a beautiful sword. The darkness draped over the rest of the room only served to make more impressive that solitary ray of light. It had a magical fairy tale quality to it. As if being pulled in by it, she drew toward the light.
I suspect there was once a large window in this room. If you look closely, you can see seams in the stones of the wall. The color of the stone differs slightly on either side of the seams. I presume something caused them to seal off the window after it was built. Though I don't know what that something might be.
Hold up! Oh! Whoa. Nope.
Okay, never mind. When Michel's eyes fell upon the white-haired girl wrapped in that beam of light, he sputtered to a stop. The man who never flinched at anything, who had long since distanced himself from such stirrings of the heart, was utterly bewitched. He had never seen her illuminated so vividly before, and he was having a great deal of trouble finding the words to describe her striking beauty. For someone who had been chased out of her home and accused of being a witch, the white-haired girl looked less like a practitioner of the dark arts, and more like the one of the host of heaven. Michel undoubtedly felt the same way, for his gaze was affixed firmly upon her.
Ah!
Dazzling, isn't it? Like a staircase leading to heaven.
Yes. Perhaps so.
Is something the matter?
No. I'm fine.
You know, it feels like there's something odd in the air here. It feels like someone actually might be listening.
If the witch were to speak to you, what would you say to her?
I would ask her to tell me her true feelings. To tell me what kind of person she was and what kind of pain she had to endure. I just want to know what she felt. This woman people branded a witch.
The legend was written from a neutral perspective. It's possible she was a fearsome witch. It's also possible she wasn't.
I get the feeling she was just persecuted like me. Like me and you.
Unlike you, I truly am impure. Disagree all you want, but my touch kills. I'm a strange, incomprehensible, irrational creature. Maybe I'm not even a living being. And that's why when I touch something that is, I bring them death.
If only I actually were a witch. If only I actually had some kind of extraordinary power. Regardless of whether it came from God or the devil, then I would be able to grant people's wishes.
My wish need not be granted.
But it's what I want too. I wish to be able to touch you.
Ah!
I would be perfectly content with nothing changing, with us never being able to touch one another. I would be more than happy with that. But I'm allowed to dream, aren't I? It doesn't have to be in this life. I pray the day will come that we can get closer, even if it has to happen in another life.
Oh. Interesting.
Happiness is very much a stranger to me. But am I allowed to dream too?
You are.
I will never touch you. I swear it. But I would like to dream about it. I would like to imagine placing my hand upon your cheek.
You can. Reach your hand out for me. I will imagine it too. I'm imagining your fingers running through my hair, brushing up against my skin. I can feel your warmth.
Okay, I noticed it. I don't know if that was discoloration, but I saw a little bit of blood on his thumb.
There was a wall between them, a wall they could not cross. For if they did, it would mean the white-haired girl's death. No matter how much they yearned for it, they could not touch one another, so they did so within the confines of their imagination, envisioning it in as much detail as they could imagine. It was sad, but sweet. A moment of pristine, untainted beauty. The two of them emanated serenity. As fitting as the word curse might have been to the mansion as a whole, at the top of the observation tower a pure bond was being shared. A fleeting moment between a young man with a cursed touch and a kind-hearted, beautiful girl. The dream did not last long, no, for God is quite cruel. They simply wanted to be together, that was all. Their wish was hardly unreasonable, only a quiet, peaceful life together. But misfortune was creeping ever nearer, its footsteps growing more and more pronounced.
Of course they were. Alright. Let's see if anything else changed from that. Oh! 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 Whoa! 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 hell fucking low! Okay. We're going back up. There's something wrong here.
As a bit of an aside, I'd like to share with you a little fact of life, my dear. Humans have a far greater capability to hurt, betray, and forsake others than they do to love, trust, and protect them. And that's precisely what the majority of people do. Yes.
What the fuck? That was a weird little notification.
Yes, I believe you know good and well that no matter how much you may trust someone, they're still going to abandon you in the end. What the? Their dialogue's completely cut out there. My dear friend, the two of us have much more in common with each other than anyone else. We both suffered at each other's hands, and we both deserve to have our vengeance. Go on. What's the matter? Make this tale into your reality. Surrender yourself in this moment to this beautiful story, and remain here in the mansion with Giselle. Watch in this moment, this dream. Who are you? Well, that's a surprise. You actually have a conscious mind? And are you aware of who you are? You know nothing. Who are you? Someone you once spent a great deal of time with. I must say, I'm impressed you made it back here, my dear. Your soul was ground into dust. It will all come back to you eventually, and then I'll be there with you again, my dear, whispering into your ear for centuries to come, and this time, I will not fail. I'll mold your soul into the same shape as mine. What a wonderful little show these puppets are putting on for us, wouldn't you say? Giselle? Giselle? Indeed, that is Giselle. The white-haired girl standing there is Giselle. We once read a book together. It was by the fireplace. What the? Wait. We once read a book together. It was by the fire. I don't know who the hell's talking. I'm guessing that's supposed to... Wait. Huh? You did not. Those memories are false. Books belong in the library. Why would they be by the fireplace? Curse them, slaughter them, revile them, inflict eternal suffering on all of their souls, take revenge on the fools who laughed as we agonized. Oh my fucking god! Holy shit! I've been missing out! Oh my god!
Is someone at the door?
The flow of time was hazy within the mansion's walls. They had little way of telling whether it was night or day, preventing them from knowing exactly how much time had passed. The white-haired girl had made a habit of climbing the observation tower every so often to see whether the sun was up, which allowed her to approximate the time of day. Consequently, when she heard the knock on the door, she was not aware just how deep the night was outside, that forest and beast alike lay quietly at rest.
Oh, right. The stores and cellar are almost exhausted. It must be this month's delivery.
Oh god.
Not thinking it was worth bothering Michelle over, she made her way out of her chambers and headed for the entrance. There had only been a single knock, leading her to conclude that, as before, the servant had simply left the box outside. Oh no. So without a second thought, she opened the door, and there she saw a strange, vagrant man standing in the moonlight. His clothes were tattered, his bearded face bony and emaciated. She gasped, shrinking back several paces. The heavy door began to swing shut, but the man forced it open, glaring down at her with unfocused eyes and mumbling, "Are ye the witch that'll grant people's wishes?" It was in that moment that the white-haired girl realized she had been careless. The man had sought out the mansion because he believed the legend of the witch, and he did not seem particularly right of mind either, perhaps the result of wandering through the forest for several days, or perhaps it was because he was so beaten down that he thought to ask for a witch's help. In a word, he seemed mad.
No. There is no witch here.
Sure there is, don't lie to me. I can hear the witch's voice. She led me to this house.
I promise you there isn't. Now please be on your way.
Have you any idea how long it took to find this place? How many days I've gone without food or water? And you telling me to get lost?
I don't know what you want from me. I'm happy to give you a little food, so please.
Is there really no witch?
There's no witch here. It's nothing but a legend. If she does exist, she doesn't live here.
Oh, I see. And that means you're just an ordinary person. Just a person. Just a girl. So there ain't a thing you can do.
No, get away from me. What are you doing?
What? Why waste time waiting for you to get a little grub when I can just take it all? I'm starving here! I'm so hungry I could eat human!
You're about to commit a grievous sin. Are you not ashamed to act in defiance of God?
God? If I believed in God, would I become begging to a witch? I don't fear him, and I sure as hell don't fear people. Who's gonna show up at a house in the middle of nowhere? Who's gonna call me out? Who's gonna stop me? No one. That's who. No one's gonna stop me and no one's gonna offer me salvation. Ah, there's a thought. You're a woman. So before I kill you... What? Oh God. What are you doing? What? There's other people here.
The white-haired girl lay pinned on the floor beneath the yelling bandit, pleading for help with her ruby eyes. As soon as Michel grasped the situation, he tossed his candlestick aside and leapt for the man. The candlestick gave a sharp clang when it hit the floor. The impact extinguished the flame, bringing the mansion to near perfect darkness. Something glinted in the bandit's hand, and then, without hesitation, he thrust it at Michel.
Michel!
Oh God. How stupid must you be to come to me unarmed?
In his hand, the man held a knife, its tip dripping with Michel's blood. Red spilled from the gash in his arm, the flow growing heavier with each passing moment.
You're the only person here by the looks of it, eh? Perfect, I'll take you both out.
You... What? You don't appear to know whose house you tried to break into.
What are you on about?
Regret your ignorance to your very last breath.
You're messed up in the head, you madman. Oi, stay the hell back. Take one more step.
I inherited the witch's curse.
Let go!
Michel clutched the man's face in one hand. The man raised his knife to strike back, but...
What happened?
The strength drained from his fingers, the knife falling to the floor. The man writhed in Michel's grip.
My face! My face! I can't breathe!
Leave this place immediately. Though you won't get far afflicted with my curse. Helpless to fight back, nay, helpless to even consider fighting back, the bandit fled from the mansion in terror. In his wake, only the white-haired girl and a bleeding Michel remained.
I just saw a man's life drained from him. His face withering away, sucked completely dry. I didn't doubt him, but dear God, that was...
That was quite disturbing for you, I'm sure.
No, not at all. It's my fault anyway if I hadn't been so careless. Oh, your arm, we need to get that wrapped up.
Please, do not touch me. You mustn't touch me. The wound is hardly fatal.
It's all my fault, I'm so sorry.
No. A degree of the blame falls on me for saying nothing. Next time someone comes to the door, let me know.
I'm sorry.
Please, you don't need to apologize. Well,
Yes,
for once, I'm actually proud of myself. Proud that I could use this terrible ability of mine to do something more than just take life. To protect something and protect someone I care about. So like I said, please don't apologize.
alright. Thank you. Michel? I'm glad you're here. I care about you too.
Okay. Hold on. Was this actually what happened? Let's see if anything else happened. So far, it seems like everything's the same. Yeah, it seems like everything pretty much the same. Okay, part of me was just like kind of wondering if something had changed that time. Had the flame of Michelle's candle had not gone out when he threw it onto the floor, he would have seen a heartfelt smile on the white-haired girl's face, and she would have seen a flush of red and an awkward smile on Michelle's normally blank face. He might have also seen a glimmer on her cheek, where a few drops of his blood had landed. But alas, they had no light. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, God, no! And that's where I'm gonna have to end it. Oh my God, no! Oh! Oh my God, that was... Oh my God. The blood of the witch. Oh my God, so that's... Oh... Oh no! Oh, damn it! There's the despair. There it was. Oh God. It was only a matter of time. Okay. First off, I'm gonna go and ask this. How much did I miss this time? I was trying to check the backlogs as often as I could, but how much did I actually miss this time? Did I get everything this time? And I also finally noticed how there was, like, you know, cut out dialogue, and for some reason several bits were dramatically different. Also, I was able to... Also, I read that the memories aren't right. Like, there's something wrong with the memories there. Some of them seem to be accurate, but some of them don't be. Or some of them aren't. Oh, God. Holy shit! I would have never even thought to check the backlog if you guys hadn't even told me. Holy sh... How long did it take for somebody to discover that? Like, I wonder how long did it take for somebody to actually discover that hidden little detail? I mean, unless I've been told this has multiple endings, or if I complete one ending, then it says try checking the backlog from now on. I'm like, ugh, okay. And then somebody just kind of starts scrolling there, and they're like, holy shit! Kind of like how I was. I'm at a loss here, honestly. Oh my God, but this is such a good novel. I love it. Anyway, if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. Also, yeah, no matter what I do, I can't seem to find a consistent voice for Michelle. And also, the actual despair will be in the next episode, apparently. So if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully.